Jacina love. Yo, we pulled up. Nate Rose, all the way out from Nashville, Tennessee.
That's right. That's right.
Y'all already know what it is. The Pull-Up Show, Lavish Lift, Listener Network. We are here, and I'm super excited to have you.
I'm super happy to be here. This is awesome.
This
is awesome.
I am such a fan of just a beautiful work ethic, great work, and you are everything in one.
Dang,
like,
she just
family
flexed on me real quick. Okay, I'll take it.
Lyricist, visually. Where did it all begin for you? Like, let's talk about the beginning. Let's
the
talk
origin
about the
story.
What made you put that pen to the paper? What is it? Is it a pen to paper? Like,
yeah. I got bit by a spider and like I just gained the abilities. You know what I'm saying?
That's definitely the story we needed.
Yeah.
I knew it.
I
knew it was a spider. I knew it was a spider.
So I grew up in Cleveland, Tennessee. So East Tennessee, kind of a rural city, and didn't have a lot of resources. When I was like 15, I found my passion for music. At first, it just started out as something that was fun, and very quickly it turned into like, as soon as I get home from school, this is what I want to do.
Oh, I love that.
And so, yeah, and then I'm like, all right, well, how do I make this a career? Because this is what I want to do. That led me to doing music business in college. So I have a music business degree.
So what age was it though?
15. 15. Yeah, and I'm 80. No, I'm 29 now. I'm 30 in a month.
Well, I'm not telling you my age, so I hope you didn't say that to get my age, because you're not getting
27?
it. That's my favorite number, though.
It is a good number.
That's my mother's number. She passed away, so that's her number. So you just threw some real good vibes my way.
Let's go.
So 15 years old.
Yep.
You jump into college.
Mm-hmm.
And now in college, you're about to make this real legit to quit for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So what was that process like?
Well, I knew I wanted to do music. I pursued it really hard, basically since I was a freshman in high school. And so that was the natural evolution. My parents were like, you know, I was the first person to graduate with a degree in my whole family.
Wow.
And so that was a big like milestone for them. And I was like, okay, but I want to do music. So how do I merge those? And we have a school called MTSU. Tay Keith actually went there, as well as some of my other rapper friends. But they have a good music business program. And so I went for that to kind of appease the 4-year degree thing while simultaneously trying to pursue the music. And
but I love how you say that. You followed your dream. You still pleased the parents, right?
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. They wanted me to have a backup plan.
Now, do you think it was worth it?
Yeah, I do think it was worth it. Because I wasn't able to make a full-time career out of music for 8 years.
Wow.
And I've been full-time for 7 years now.
Okay.
So the degree allowed me to get my like corporate job and stuff out of college, which kind of funded some of the efforts on the music side. And so, I think it was worth it for that. I also think the education was really helpful in just getting a good grasp on the basics of the music industry and things like that. And then beyond that, some of the people that I met who are also trying to pursue music, did big things. Like when my good friend John Hicks, Johnny Grande, he's a mix engineer for Jason Derulo, and he's doing my album. So, but it was like we were friends in college. We were tapped in all the time.
So it's like that thing, like lawyers. I always hear that, right? With lawyers and judges, like, oh.
Yeah, we go way back. I was in NYU.
Like, I got this case.
Yeah.
So, well, look at that. It could work in other areas too.
It does. Network. Yeah.
I love that. Okay, and you have your own label.
So I have my own video company.
Got it.
So me and my business partner David, we own a media company, do a lot of music videos, work in the comedy space, and we're trying to build a YouTube channel. So we started a podcast, and we also have like reaction videos and things like that. So I learned a lot of skill sets out of necessity. I wanted to make it in music, but I'm like, all right, but I need single covers, but I need to know how to put music videos out there. I need to learn marketing and things like that. And so I wanted it bad enough that I learned those skills just to support the music. But at some point, I was getting a lot of interest in the music video quality and stuff that I was doing at the time in college. And so I didn't want to leave that money on the table when somebody's like, who does your video? It's me, but I'm always the editor. There's always a cameraman. So eventually I tapped in with my friend David. We were friends since high school. And we formed a company, and he's amazing with the visuals and stuff on the back end. His passion is video, like in a real deep way. And so, yeah, we just kind of combine forces. And what worked is because I'm a rapper, it leverages the video. Like the music, I'll have relationships on the music side, and when they need visuals, we got them over here. And
Oh,
sometimes
wow.
we meet people on the video side that it's like, okay, cool, now I have a relationship with that person to work on the music side. So, it's kind of this like, self leveraging kind of thing that I have my hands in. So,
I love that's such a great point right there. The fact that from jump, you
hmm
said it, right? We said went to college, I met somebody that I was able to boom and went into that.
hmm
Now childhood friend, but as we meet people, it's like one hand washes the other.
yeah, yeah.
I feel like through that, you've cultivated your followers. Through that, you've gained the following for yourself. You're pushing yourself
hmm
on so many levels. How hard has that been?
It's been really difficult. But I was confident and committed to the end goal.
Mm.
So, like I said, it took me 8 years to make a full time living from music. The first time I ever got $1,000 check was I played a frat show, and when I opened the check up, like I just broke down crying because
Wow.
it was a moment where I realized that I was so laser focused on the opportunities just right around that this $1,000 check was the first little validation of my efforts. And I
Wow.
just realized like, wow, like it could actually work, even though I constantly told myself, what I'm saying, oh,
It will,
the
it will,
next
it
opportunity
will.
is right there. So yeah. I sacrificed a lot of time doing other things. I spent my weekends in high school
Mm.
traveling to neighboring malls on the weekend and like doing like handing out business cards and things like that. That's not the typical stuff that
It's
that a high
definitely
schooler
not.
does.
It's
So
definitely not.
yeah, I sacrificed time, energy, and there were sometimes friendships that didn't work out because I was really focused on this dream. And so yeah, a lot of sacrifice, but ultimately, ended up working out. I actually got a wife out of the music endeavor as well. So,
What?
you know what I'm saying?
I wanted
Shout
to
out
tap
wifey.
into
Okay.
this because I feel like, we have the whole don't date a rapper. There's a
Don't
lot
date
of
a
that.
rapper.
Don't date a rapper is what we hear a lot of. Like
Mm,
you're
mm.
gonna get cheated on.
Okay.
They're always in the streets. Change that
Yeah.
narrative. Talk to me about it.
No, my wife is the absolute best. She's super supportive. I met her. I was selling CDs at a concert. This artist named John Bellion. He was playing for 400 or 500 cap room, and I was selling CDs, and we connected, got each other Snapchat. And the first time we FaceTime was 7 hours. So we just kind of
Love it.
hit it off rip. And yeah, no, I fully condone a monogamous relationship. The
Hey.
union can be greater than the sum of its parts if you guys are committed to the same
Mm.
end goal. And my wife has been such a support for me. I mean, she's literally, she'll be texting me like, "Hey, good luck on, on the radar on this podcast you're about to
Excited for
go on."
you,
Like, yeah,
right?
all of that, and very supportive. She's very creative herself, and yeah, like definitely my rock in that way. So
I feel like you have a good thing when it comes to creating relationships. Hearing,
okay, okay, so yes, but not always.
okay.
So this kind of goes into some of the arc of my life.
Oh,
Really,
I love it.
I
Let's
used
talk
to
about it.
be the Denzel of my movie. Very
Okay.
very egocentric in the
Okay.
sense of it's like I had all these things going on. I'm the rapper at the small town. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what am I doing? What can I get? And at some point, I kind of just like popped my head out of the sand and realized I didn't have any close friendships and close relationships.
Wow.
And I found that a lot of times, when I was around people, I was talking about myself and wasn't really interested in what they had to say.
Mm.
And so, I had the option at that point of like just pushing it off to the externalities, blaming the other people, saying, oh, like making some kind of excuse for it, or I could turn inwards and say, okay, what does it look like to figure this out? And also shout out my wife for helping me through that process. She would just be like, yo, like my parents don't really like you because the first time you met them, you were just talking about yourself. They wanted you to talk about their daughter and like, whatever.
Yeah.
I thought I was proving myself to them. You know what I'm saying? So over time, uh, I learned to I learned better communication, and I also learned to dissolve ego. That's a lifelong journey, but I learned that like I don't feel like as much of the Denzel in my movie. It's not Nate Rose at the center of everything. Now I sort of view my identity as embedded in the roles and responsibilities that I adopt.
Wow.
So, for example, like it being the best husband that I can be is a part of that picture. Being the best friend that I can be is part of that picture. You know what I'm saying? Being the best client I can be, or being the best, et cetera, down the line. And that's kind of how I take ownership of those things now.
Wow, I think that's beautiful for even the youth to hear. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I feel like coming into this game, it's very ego centered, right?
100%. I'm wearing
Um,
sunglasses inside of a vehicle. You know what I'm saying? Of course, it's
no, no,
ego in
no.
the rap game. I put these on just to look cool. There's no sun.
Just to
There's no
look
sun
cool.
in here.
But at the same time, it's so good to hear that even through ego, we can make friendships, we can get married, we can give time to somebody else to sit and speak to and learn from. Because who are you learning from? If
Hmm.
it's just about you, what are you learning?
Yeah.
Like you're just out there just selling
Yep.
yourself every the fuck where you
100%.
go.
100%. And unfortunately, I think there's a lot of people that are stuck in that mode. Stuck being, validated with their own limited worldview, without kind of taking a step back, and you know what I mean. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think the degree to which you reduce your ego and pour into other people is the degree to which you have a meaningful and purposeful life. And
Wow.
so, I'm committed to seeking that. You know what I mean?
Oh man, I love it. All right, let's
Yeah.
get back into the music.
All right, let's do it.
So the videos, because your visuals are insane.
Yeah. Thank
They're
you.
like
Thank you.
on another level.
We
Like
try.
guys, I'm telling you, like on another level. Talk to me about the brain behind this. Talk to me about what drives you to be so visually creative and so visually on point.
Yeah. So, my business partner David Pearsall, he is just a mastermind when it comes to the visuals, and him and I are constantly trying to find ways. We call it cracking the code, but we're constantly trying to find ways to elevate our art. And we have, I'm not huge, like I'm not a superstar, so we have
A million listeners. I would think you're pretty
we have limited
huge.
budgets. I'm indie, you know what I'm saying? I'm supporting people out of support and kind of running it myself. So it does. We have constraints of budget, and so we're like, okay, what are things that we can do to elevate the content? We're constantly trying new things in order to make a great product. I think what really drives that is just the passion for the art. I do the same thing on the music side. Like my new album, Ultra Marathon, is
Ultra Marathon is out, y'all.
yeah, that's right. And so the new project, like I was like, all right, well, I produce a lot of my own stuff, but I need to up the ante. I'm trying to bridge the gap between me and an A-list artist as far as
Nice.
the quality of the art. So I flew out 3 producers from LA, 2 of which are multi-platinum in a collective called Bregma. The other one is Oh Gosh Leotis, who is a super fire artist, produced for SZA, Blast, a bunch of other people, and really just trying to take the sonics of the project up. We have that same level of commitment on the visual side,
Okay.
and yeah, it helps to. I got to give a lot of credit to David because his vision, he always is inspiring me, and his just eye for the visuals is really really dope. So yeah, he drives a lot of that as well.
Right now, I feel like we're in a time when people are like, you go into the booth and it's the mic that just inspires you and it just pours out.
Mm-hmm.
Are you writing? Do you go into the booth?
What's my writing process like?
What is it like? Is there a writing process? No, I can't even ask that anymore because some people
Really?
are like, oh, I don't write.
Okay.
I don't write.
Okay.
I get a lot of that now.
Yeah.
We don't write.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. We go into the booth and
then they
the
freestyle it
mic's
up.
inspiring. It's like
I have a bit of a blend of both.
Okay.
So my writing process usually is I will just, once I get a beat to a certain point where ideas start coming to my head, I will record several different mumbles over the course of the track. Like I might do like 5 full takes, and what I'm trying to do there is serve the beat in terms of the rhythm and melodies that I'm putting forth.
Nice.
So without thinking about the lyrics, I'm just kind of like finding flows and melodies that complement the rhythm and melodic structure of the beat.
Wow.
And then after that, I'll do some arrangement and start figuring out what the thesis of the song is going to be. So what the point of the song is and what I'm trying to communicate. And then I start doing the puzzle of fitting the lyrics into this loose structure that I've built. So it's a blend of both. I think if you are someone who doesn't write or are not focused heavily on lyricism, you're not really standing behind the things you're saying, which I think is a major part of the art. At the core of, I think
I
art
love that.
is meant to prompt questions. I think it's meant to, challenge conventions and things like that. And the lyrics are an extremely important part of doing that.
Oh my God, it
You know what I
is.
mean? So to not put care and attention behind the lyrics, I think is a disservice to the art. And if you're creating with art in mind, which not everybody is, a lot of people are creating because there's the appearance. I want
You
to,
say
yeah,
that. I love that you say
yeah,
this for different reasons. Some
yeah,
people are being artists for different reasons.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
And being indie, is it something that you want to sign with somebody, or do you feel?
Yeah, I'm not against a label situation. Everything I've been approached with is
I feel like it's a
is
stupid question because it's like, of
uh-huh.
course you want to get, of course you want to get the big numbers. Of course you want to get signed up,
You
but
know, maybe though, because so on one hand, yes, if I could elevate some of the music, that might work. But I'm big into finance. I know what's going on with my money. A lot of the label
yeah,
situations,
this is
right?
so important.
They don't make sense. Like
Okay.
if they might be relying on artists to sign deals that don't really know where their money's going or what the value looks like or able to run. If you're going to give me this amount of money up front for this many songs or this many albums, I can do the math on where my current trajectory is and see
Nice.
that
Like
the
it
amount
don't
of
even
money we're
add
getting.
up.
Yeah, it's like yo, hey, come back when we're serious. You know what I'm saying? But another part of that is like the flexibility, the creative freedom that I have, the flexibility to release songs whenever I want, do collaborations with whoever I want to do
And
collaborations
for the
with.
way you've been since July,
Yeah.
you are going crazy
Thank
dropping
you.
music.
Thank you. Yeah, and also, I know there's a lot of talk about ownership, but every song I create is literally a piece of intellectual property,
That's right.
and this is the type of stuff that I get to leave for my kids. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? This so if it's like if I were to die today, my songs continue going. There's still passive income for my wife and my soon to be here son. You know what I'm saying?
Congratulations.
Thank you. So yeah, that's kind of how my brain works. I'm kind of like trying to look at the long term, the bigger picture. I could go somewhere faster. I could go somewhere where I have longevity. And I feel like if I'm able to say the things I want to say, make the type of music I want to make, like that's what's fulfilling to me. And if I feel limited in any way by a label structure or I can't put this message out now because of the timeline's not right. They don't have certain things set up, or I can't like I don't know. I don't like saying have somebody having their foot on my neck. Like
Saying you have to do this, or you have to
yeah,
do it this
exactly.
way, or you have to dress that
Exactly.
way.
Or like yeah, that song, yeah, the A&R is not really feeling it for the album because it doesn't have like the standard structure that we want for this song. No, I'm good. I had a 4.5 minute song where I wanted to just rap over the whole thing because I have stuff I want to say. I need that to get to people.
When it comes to freestyles, I feel like we don't get that all the time anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you're an artist and you're like, okay, I make music, but the freestylers,
Uh-huh.
we do it a little bit of different, but you're
Yeah.
giving us best of both worlds.
I try. I do my best.
And to say that a freestyle head, I feel like that's an art
Mm,
because it's off the top.
mm-hmm.
It's a moment type of thing. It's
Mm-hmm.
momentum.
Yeah.
It's not sometimes, yeah, sometimes there's freestyles that are timeless, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then there's some freestyles that are to the moment.
Mm-hmm.
How do you create when it comes to that?
Oh, when I'm doing a straight up freestyle. Wow. I used to be a lot better at freestyle. Oh, this is crazy.
Where you
Whoa, what we getting? I was about to say we getting steamy in the pull up pod. That's crazy. That's crazy. I was trying to see a little something extra. Nah, yeah, I used to freestyle a lot when I was in college because I'd be on campus and I would set up a Bluetooth speaker and me and some of my rap homies we would just freestyle all the time. I do it a little bit less now than I used to, but yeah, now it's like whenever I do it, I'm just pulling from I don't know whatever. I like to challenge myself in the same way that like Harry Mack does, for
Okay,
example, where he's like,
okay.
all right, give me words. So I used to do a lot of that kind of stuff, and um, I see it kind of as an exercise. Like I'm trying to like break my brain in different ways and try to approach things from different angles, and so yeah, that's kind of how I look at it.
Talk to us more about the album.
Okay,
What's different about this album than any other piece of work that you've put out?
okay, so there's two things. On the one hand, the production quality is heavily elevated. I got some producers that make me look like you know what I'm saying? Yeah, which I did name that make me look like not a producer. So shout out to the boys. But that's good though. This is
Everybody learns from somebody,
it's
right?
in the pursuit of
That's it.
you know what I'm saying, a greater product.
That's right.
So on that front, definitely like up the ante on the quality. But also this coincides with a newfound sense of purpose and meaning in my life. The project's called Ultra Marathon, and it is the the pursuit of the highest good as an ultra marathon. So it's a run that you decide to keep running, and then like there's not necessarily a destination. It's just the pursuit of the highest good is that. And so a lot of these songs are um, very introspective, very I don't know. Like I'm bringing people along the search for meaning that I'm doing in my personal life. You know, I've been studying philosophy a lot, studying theology, asking a lot of questions, trying to figure out, you know, what to do with these feelings. You know, my dad passed away last year,
Oh, God bless.
and you know, all right, well, okay, what does that mean in terms of what I believe about what happens after death? What happens
Right.
here? How do you leave a meaningful impact on people? Like all those types of questions I'm exploring over the
And it's
project.
so crazy that those kind of questions come up when you really lose somebody close. Like
Mm-hmm.
you know death, right? Like we
Yep.
know death, we have our beliefs, but when you really lose
Mm-hmm.
that main source of energy, it's like you want to
Yeah.
stay so tapped in
Yes. Yes.
to that spirit, and you're like, okay, so I really want to know what happens now. What is life
Yes.
after death?
Yes.
Because I still want to experience this. I still want to be able
Yeah.
to. And for me, I say I'm really tapped into numbers. I'm
Mm-hmm.
really big in my faith.
Mm-hmm.
So when I hear you say that, I'm really tapped into numbers. So when you said 27 like that,
Mm-hmm.
literally, like that was literally me, like
27 is the number. Okay.
literally, no,
Okay.
but I'm saying like that's
Good.
how tapped in I am. I'll
Yeah.
see the
Yeah.
number flat out anywhere I go. It's like a 127. I'm just like I get on a train and that's the number of the train car.
Mm-hmm.
Those kind of things is what keeps me tapped into that. So
Yeah.
you say that
Okay.
and I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah. To piggyback off of what you just said too, like I think a lot of people go through their life distracted from these difficult questions and these difficult
yes,
you know this character arc that we should be on, you know, the things we should be focusing on.
that's right.
We distract ourselves, whether it's for career pursuits or you know whatever it might be, right? And the inevitability is that suffering will come. I mean, we're all going to die. All the people that you love are going to die. You're going to be presented with those questions at some point anyway, and it's going to rock you if you don't have some kind of foundation to lean on with how to deal with that or how to make sense of that or how to, you know, explore that on a macro level. You know what I mean? And so it comes for us all, and I think that it's a lot easier if you have a strong foundation to fall back on, you know, in the event
Yeah.
of those suffering events that are inevitable, you know.
What's the name of the podcast?
So the podcast is Thick as Thieves.
Okay.
We're on a brief hiatus because we are kind of restructuring some things, but
Okay.
we've leaned pretty heavily into reaction videos for the moment. You know what I'm saying? Trying to grow the channel and stuff through some organic means
Okay.
of discovery. But yeah, me and David, our media facing uh, company is called Thieves and THVS. So, you know what I'm saying? Two best friends, Thick as Thieves, music and media, all that kind of stuff. So
Nice. Do you
yeah.
feel like being an artist and being on a podcast like that, does it tie in together or does it sometimes clash? Like you don't want to be in the rapper head when you're podcasting, or doesn't matter?
No, you know, I try to lead with authenticity in everything that I do,
Awesome.
and I'm sure you're like this. Everybody in this vehicle is probably like this. We all have many sides to us. You know,
Yeah.
there's I can put my business cap on. You know what I'm saying? We can really get down into the analytics and all of that. We could get into the depth, deep conversations, but also I just be goofing off. You know what I mean? And I enjoy creating art, and so for me, a podcast is just a different outlet for a way for me to express myself in a way that isn't through art or through conversation, or it is through conversation, through art or like through another, you know, means of interaction. So yeah, we talk about a lot of stuff. We just be joking, cracking up on there. So it's nice, man. And doing a podcast with your best friend is
I
awesome.
feel like although you're rapping and you're really saying your truth, and I mean you're putting everything into your lyrics, at the
Hmm.
same time, there's some that miss the lyrics, right? There's
Hmm.
some that will take to the beat more than they'll take. So I love the fact that you can repeat yourself on the podcast. I love the fact that you can go with those beliefs
Yeah, that's
from that rap song
yeah,
and push it through that podcast,
yeah.
because
Expand on
sometimes
them in
we
a different way
do,
too. Yeah,
just like a movie, like we watch a movie and all of a sudden we're like, oh, shit, watch it for the second time, we're like, I don't remember this part,
yeah,
right? So
yeah.
the same thing with music. So I like
100%.
that you're like almost double backing.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
You're like, all right, I'm
That's
here for the lyrics
that's a great
and I'm
point.
here to really talk to you.
Yes. You get a long form version of what I'm talking about in the song.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great point.
I feel also with the gatekeepers and those who began hip hop, I feel there was a time where there was no one teaching,
Hmm.
right? And we love these legends for what we love them for, but where was the game being taught?
Yeah,
So when we come down to it and everybody's like, well, hip hop's dead, and it's like it grew from what it could,
yeah,
right? Because when hip hop started, it wasn't like there was a blueprint to it.
right.
So then those artists didn't even think to like, okay, now we gotta teach it. Now we gotta bring it down. But something like this
Hmm.
shows that you can play with both.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an open book when it comes to whether it's music business advice. Like I get specific even on income and
How
numbers
do
and
you know all this music advice though? Talk to us about that. Where'd you get all this information?
hey, 15 years being an indie artist and in a music
Well,
business degree. You
you'll
know
be
what I mean?
surprised. I know people who've been in the game and will still sign a dotted line.
Yeah. No, this is very important to me, and so part of that is like providing for my family and like
Really
it's
making it
just
a
it's
business.
a necessity. um I wanted to do it full time, and in order to do it full time I had to be focused on, I didn't know how to navigate the business, know where I had potential to make bread and things like that. And you mentioned gatekeepers. Honestly, I am so thankful that I live in a time period where the gatekeepers are becoming less and less relevant,
Right.
because my ability to access my own marketing channels through social media,
That's right.
my ability to distribute music for little to no cost and be on the same platforms that Drake is on,
Talk about it.
right? Because
Talk about
in
it.
the old music business, when we
It's
had
true.
CDs, if I don't have a major label distribution situation set up, I can't sell my CD in Walmart unless I go through a rack job or something like that. But it's like, and at that time, for the average consumer that wasn't like deep in it, they would just pop up in Walmart, you know what I'm saying? Look at some CDs. This cover looks dope. Let me try that. You know what I mean? Let me, who should I check out? And it's like all the barriers to entry for those types of things have been removed. And what that does is democratizes the art. Like even now on a comedy front,
That was such a beautiful word. Democratizes the art.
democratizes the
I
art.
love that.
That's right. Like on a comedy front, I follow some really funny people. Like there's this dude named Aldo on TikTok. He's hilarious, and he does these kind of like candid looking videos where he's doing some crazy thing. He never would have had a chance because his brand and style of comedy doesn't fit into the mold of like stand up comedian or something like that. But because of the channels, this is somebody we may never have heard of or whatever,
right.
and now he's become really famous on the basis of his humor. And yeah, nobody had to do that for him. He could just create it and put it out there, and we're living in a great time. There's more saturation and stuff, but like that's the trade-off for
That's right.
having access. I'd rather have access and work hard, you know what I mean?
Oh, I love that. I love that you said that too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there's so much going on. What was the reason behind all the drops? Because you lit it up this summer.
Oh yeah. I'm just trying to stay consistent. I think there's something that happens in the brain when you got a son on the way, kid on the way. But for me, in my case, it happens to be a son.
Boy.
That's right, baby Andros.
Oh,
Name drop. You might be. Oh yeah, they get the name drop from the pull up. You know what I'm saying? Hold up, I gotta get this back.
I really love that. That's a beautiful.
Yeah,
name.
no, I just feel a sense of motivation, and I feel like there's a lot of songs on this project that are really meaningful. I think that some of the things that I'm exploring can really plant a seed for people to ask certain questions and perhaps improve their lives in a meaningful way. And I think that's something that that goes beyond me as an artist or whatever attention I could garner or whatever. I want the music to be able to affect people in a certain way. And so yeah, all of these like coinciding things are just making me want to go even harder. You know what I'm saying? So that's hence why I'm out in New York with a baby on the way in 30 days. So,
Oh my god.
yeah.
Your woman really supports, because I
She
was
does.
like,
She's real.
any day now.
She's at
and
home.
you
She's at home just like this. You know what I'm saying? Holding her
I
stomach up.
literally would have been like a BITCH about it. Like, no, what if I give birth tomorrow and you're in New
Yeah,
York?
I know.
That's awesome.
I'll take the flight back.
Seriously,
ASAP.
right?
Yeah.
ASAP.
Yep.
Gotta be there. Wow, Nate. I'm blown away by the art. For me too, it's this. You have this. I can feel the energy of like exactly what you're saying. Like the sun is coming. I feel the happiness.
Hmm.
At the same time, right now I feel like we're in a we're in this. Let me get my words together here.
Yeah, let's do it.
So we're in this time right now where, like you said, you can push yourself, you can be an indie artist, you can thrive. And
Hmm.
this is what I'm seeing in you.
Oh,
That you're thriving.
I appreciate that. I'm doing my best. You know, I feel like if I focus on, like I said, the focus on the art and focus on the mission that's beyond myself, I think the rest of it will fall into place. You know, I just got to work hard and keep my eyes on like the grand vision of everything.
You said something really good before too. You said when it comes to your lyrics, when it comes to the visuals,
Hmm.
the way you're literally mapping all of this out. There's artists that just put music out,
Hmm.
put whatever visual out,
Hmm.
and getting crazy numbers. Do you allow that to bother you? Do you allow that to
Yeah, yeah.
kind of stagnate your situation? Does it get to your head?
No, I see what you're saying. I think that you know, there are certain things on social media that would be more conducive to growth if that was the primary goal. So, you know, there's a bunch of different
I love
like things that work well. And this is no disrespect to any of these artists. I have a lot of respect for these artists, but somebody like Connor Price, for example, and Nick D,
that.
two artist homies, they have a an approach to music where they think of content first and kind of build the song around supporting the content. That's just not the way I approach things.
Okay.
And perhaps, you know, like you've seen those videos where it's like a person in, you know, in the studio, and then it's like it's a double of them and they walk in the room and then they're like, yo, we're gonna cook up the song, kind of gets you attached to the story. I'm just not into making that type of content. And so even though those things might be more beneficial, or maybe certain collaborations might be more beneficial, I want to stay true to who I am and what type of stuff that I like. And then I'll try to figure out how to make that work within that framework. So a lot of the content that I make might not be the stuff that works as well on social media. But I think that
it's for the big dreamers.
It's for the
the ones with the bigger thought process. Nah,
yeah.
I don't want to do that either. I don't want to do that either.
I would say I feel like it's authentic to me. It's stuff that I want to make, and then I would hope that it will stand the test of time. Like it'll be a little more evergreen. You know, when you can look back on something that has like a lot of cinematic and
oh my God,
value.
Yes. That's why I felt perhaps
you up. Five years later, you know, maybe it can still be working like
Definitely.
that. So, yeah.
Oh my God. And now with the fact of TikToks, right? Now we got songs from back in the days blowing up again.
That's true.
Coming back around.
Yeah.
So I feel like
the labels are collecting a lot of money.
Yo, there's artists
that never recouped.
It was like a one-hit wonder. Now they're able to gain from that all over again.
That would be so frustrating.
Blowing.
If I was an artist that was signed in like the 80s, and then like a song of mine is popping off, but I don't have any ownership of it, and so I'm like,
oh my God, forget it. Here we get back to the idea of ownership.
Yeah.
And how important it is.
Yeah.
And how you guys can, if you could give one advice from everything you've learned from the industry, we could just say one thing on camera for our youngins who are going into the rap game, who are coming into hip hop, because your sound is, you're like you got the melodic in there, you got the like the rap blues, I feel like you're doing a little bit of it all.
Yeah, I like to keep it interesting. If I had can I do two?
Two.
Okay, two things.
No, well, I mean, I said one because we pay for information now.
I got you. I'm gonna give you two in different directions. So to all the people who are considering trying to do music for a living, if you are not willing to do it every day for a decade and potentially not make it, then leave it as a passion and let it be pure in there. Don't worry about the music business. Don't worry about all the things that you have to do to like try to make it in the marketing yourself and sacrificing time with your family and all of those things. Don't worry about that. Let it be pure. Let it remain art and keep that as a passion. If you are willing to do that and you're willing to grind it out for a decade, then I would suggest a career in music. But don't do it because it's got to be driven off the passion. If you do it for you know what I'm saying, your own visibility or validation or something like that, you're destined to fail. As far as the artists out there, commit your life to the art. You know what I'm saying? Rick Rubin said that if you're focused on the end user, then that is commerce, not art, because you're making creative sacrifices for some end user. I feel like we need to really elevate the level of art, and the commitment to that is what will push you to the place you want to be in. And it becomes a lot easier to market your music when the product is good. So if you focus heavily on the product, for example, like if I showed you a song right now and it's the best song you've ever heard, you're gonna ask me where to find it. Like it's not gonna be like I gotta be like, and then will you please check it out on Spotify? So ultimately,
like I need that on my Spotify. Can you put that on my
Spotify? Exactly. And you're gonna probably tell people about it because now you got to show your friends.
Seriously.
So at the base level, like what really captures people is the art itself, and so I think more stock needs to be put in that. I have so many conversations with people who are so focused on how to get social media to work, and they're frustrated with the algorithm, and they're frustrated with this, and they're frustrated with that. Take a step back and focus on the art. This is what you're doing it for, And
even for me, like I'm like, that's great advice for the journalists out there, for the hosts. But it's.
Did you say for the hoes?
No.
For the journalists out there, for the hoes.
For the hoes out there.
I got it. That's awesome.
Well, you never know. Hey, listen,
for them
the hoes out there too.
Yeah, that's right.
You got to focus on the art.
Yes.
The art of it.
Yeah. Okay. Listen, we're we went somewhere crazy.
Yeah, I mean, just a little bit.
Yes.
Such a great interview, Nate. I mean, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see where this goes. I cannot wait to see you as a father. I am following the journey now.
Yeah.
I'm all the way tapped in. Listen, stay tapped in with us. Anytime we can pull up on you, we're going to pull up. Maybe we'll go to Nashville.
If y'all come to Nashville, I'll take you to some crazy places. We're going to have a great time on Broadway. Yeah, and we'll go hit a bunch of secret spots too. So,
wait a minute.
Yes.
In hip hop, what was one of the, maybe a moment that was just like, oh my God, this is so cool, or an album that came out that just touched you? Tell me about something in hip hop that really made a mark on your life.
In hip hop,
just in general, or just music in general.
Ooh,
it's the art of it.
I mean, there's been a few iterations. Mm-hmm. My music taste has evolved over time. I think Good Kid, Mad City for me in high school really was like,
oh my God,
it was really up the ante. Yeah, my top three favorite artists are Kendrick Lamar, John Bellion, and Beam in terms of people that have influenced my sound. And so,
and I can hear it.
Yeah, well, that's a huge compliment. So
I could hear it.
I'll take it. So, yeah.
And I mean, come on. Did you say Kendrick Lamar just because he's up? So what is it, Kendrick or Drake?
Oh, now you put me on the spot. Look, two goats can be great at what they do. You know what I'm saying? Just because they beef don't mean that, yeah. I got Drake songs in rotation.
I'm going to be real. I love the fact that I felt like it really put into perspective. Come on, one's a lyricist, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And one is great at what he does. So we keep them there. Like Kendrick where he needs to be, and he could be king of that.
Yeah.
And we keep Drake and where he's at, and you're the king of that too. Like
It's not one or the other.
But a lyricist is definitely different from an artist. And I feel like, I'll tell you what, I'm a teacher.
Okay.
I never seen my students diving into lyrics. Coming every day like, yo, you heard, and what do you think he meant by this? And I hadn't heard that in so long.
Mhm.
So for what it was, I love the Kendrick and Drake beef.
Okay.
And I feel like we needed a little bit.
Yeah, you know, it shook things up.
Yeah,
It shook things up a little bit.
Everybody's awake now.
That's
Everybody's
right.
like,
That's right.
even if we're choosing sides, we're involved.
That's right.
And I think that's what matters.
Okay, big facts.
Yo, Nate
Mic drop.
Rose. Nate Rose.
Seriously,
Super excited.
thank
to
y'all
have
so
you,
much
man.
for having me. For
No,
real, like this is a great New York
when you
experience.
get your
I'm so-
Grammy, I'm gonna be like, I knew it.
Hey, when I get my Grammy, you know what I'm saying, you can have it. You know what I mean?
No, we're
come
gonna
bring it
pull
for-
up.
All right,
We're
let's
gonna pick up you, the white.
pull up and pick it up.
We're
No,
gonna
that's the requirement. We got to pull up,
Pull up
do a
and
second
pick it up.
interview, and pick it up. On it.
So, Nate
Awesome.
Rose,
Thank y'all.
Jacina Love, we pulled up, y'all. Shouts to Lavish Lift, always. And you already know, listener network, listen to us, get tapped in. This is Jacina Love. Pull up, y'all.